And from on the ice to in the ocean, the Stanley Cup is going for a celebratory swim. The Florida Panthers taking their excitement to the Atlantic, and fans are right there with them. Monday's win making franchise history as the team's first Stanley Cup victory.
Coming up on this edition of Carolina Insider, slam dunks and sweet treats, why the Gamecock women's basketball team is shooting hoops for Halloween. Also ahead, home not so sweet home.
I was thinking like how I'm going to pay this.
Why USC international students were charged more than expected for housing. But first, ready, set, go. How a race car themed coffee shop is adding to our regional business boom.
Princess of Wales is back in the public eye just months after opening up about her cancer treatment, why she chose now to make an appearance. And coming up in the next hour, a controversial call in yesterday's WNBA game, how the league's most popular rookies are reacting to the flagrant foul.
Ahead here in the race, from big donors to your next door neighbors, Democrats are growing divided on President Biden's re-election. What's causing the split? After the break.
Plus, your smartphone getting a little smarter, maybe too much smarter. Some argue Apple is putting AI right in our pocket. The company now bringing AI-generated emojis to your devices. It also announced that Siri will be able to have more in-depth conversations. Apple's CEO says this new software goes beyond AI. He calls it, quote, personal intelligence.
A new report shows that crime is crumbling across the country. The FBI just released data showing violent crime dropping by 15%, murders dropping by 26%. This all happening in the first 3 months of this year. Attorney General Merrick Garland calling the numbers historic.
On Your Side Tonight continues now with a safe haven for an underrepresented group. Good evening, and thanks for staying with us here at 7:30. Last month, we brought you the stories of two local moms brought together by PFLAG, or the Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. It's an organization dedicated to educating and supporting the LGBTQ+ community and their loved ones. Both parents, Annabelle and Dana, say they love their children unconditionally, regardless of how they identify.
Don't instigate hate. Just let people live, let people love, and let people be.
Love your kid anyway. So if your child comes to you and says, this is what's going on, I love you, I accept you for who you are.
But not every child is afforded that unwavering support, especially when they're opening up about their gender or sexuality. In some cases, they're even kicked out of their homes with then nowhere to go. In fact, nearly 30% of LGBTQ people ages 13 through 24 have experienced homelessness or housing instability at some point in their lives. Those who do are also more likely to experience mental health challenges. In fact, there were 2 to 4 times more likely to suffer depression, anxiety, and self-harm compared to kids with more stable homes. Young people, maybe just as old as some of your children, struggling to find some form of security. And where do they turn? Well, where can they go to maybe unwind? Just take a deep breath for just a second. Well, for LGBTQ youth, there is a nonprofit here in Charlotte doing that and more. Time Out Youth describes itself as a place where you are not expected to be anyone or anything except yourself. We sat down with the executive director, Sarah McHale. She explains who comes through their door seeking a timeout. Tell me more about the young people who come here. Where do they come from? What kinds of things are you providing for them?
Our young people are ages 13 to 24 from Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, and all of the surrounding counties. So they come to us for a variety of reasons. I'll say our most basic thing is this space, coming in for social and emotional support. It's where young people come to spend time with each other or alone. As you can see, we have little spots where people can sit. There's always a puzzle, there's always a video game or a movie. So it's where our young people in Charlotte can come and just be themselves and relax. There's often someone napping on a beanbag too. So really a place to do whatever it is that you need.
But the center is more than a group space. Time Out Youth also offers free therapy services, housing management support, laundry, a refresh room, as well as weekly events and activities. It's one of the few places in North Carolina specifically focused on our young people. 60% of LGBTQ young people who wanted mental health care in the past year and were unable to get it now through these programs, are able to receive the help that they have been looking for. Another sobering fact for you here. Nearly half of LGBTQ youth seriously considered suicide in the past year.
It sounds like because of the therapies that you can provide, you're probably saving lives.
Yes, 100%. We are here to save lives, and that is more and more true as we see such division in our political climate. We are keeping young people safe by affirming who they are.
And it's evident support is part of the solution here. LGBTQ youth who live in an accepting community reported significantly lower rates of attempting suicide than those who don't.
If a young person's watching tonight and feels like they need some help, what would you tell them?
Come to us. Come to Time Out Youth. There's something for everyone. It is a really special, you're in this space where you can really feel how youth informed and special it is, that if there's something they need that they're not getting, we work our hardest to figure it out.
Sarah says around 60% of LGBTQ youth grow up in non-affirming homes. Marco is one of those people. He says he grew up in an unsupportive household and came to the center when he was around 15 years old.
So as you struggled with some of these issues, what did this place mean to you?
Time Out Youth was my haven. It was my safe haven. It was my healing hut. It was my gas station. It was my it was my mother and my father, my cousin. It was every single support that I could have ever imagined to have had. Honestly, Time Out Youth actually has saved my life and countless people's lives.
Talk to a parent out there who may be watching, who has a child who may be dealing with what you dealt with. What would you tell them?
To always remember to love your child for who they are, regardless of whatever that group or belief that they may have may be. It all starts with the support that they give their child.
You heard Marco there. It all starts with support. And if you want to learn more about Time Out Youth services, we have put a link on our website. Go to wbtv.com/webextras.
I'm no hero. You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
Deadpool and Wolverine is the latest entry in this summer of sequels, trying to rake in big bucks at the box office. Inside Out 2 is now the highest grossing animated movie ever. Twisters, that just came out last week, blew past box office predictions, and same goes for Despicable Me 4.
I know you spoke with the Columbia Police Chief Skip Holbrook this afternoon. What's he telling you about this?
Yes, Donnie and Billie Jean. So Chief Holbrook tells me that recruitment is not the issue, but it's been retention.
Well, do they mean anything, or was that just somebody's idea of something? I like those colors, so I'm going to put those on there. What do they stand for? Well, they do stand for something, and it's tonight's good question.
Welcome back to Morning Rush. Probably even more debatable is the style that you prefer for your hot dog more than anything else on this 4th of July. Google Trends found some of the more interesting regional differences across the U.S. In Alaska, for instance, reindeer hot dogs were highly searched ahead of the holiday. Oklahomans looked up meatless hot dogs, and in Maine, it's the traditional red snapper dog, which has a bright red color. Hawaii has the dirty water hot dog, boiled in spices.
Yes.
And 6 states are fans of the Korean hot dog. I've never had that.
Right. This is Wrightsville Beach along the North Carolina coast. Beautiful ocean like this, though, keep in mind, can turn into a very stressful situation in the blink of an eye.
I'm scared. I watch him. My 16-year-old, when he was little, he would just walk right in the water like it was nothing.
Yeah, it's a parent's nightmare. Your child getting stuck in a riptide.